Dear friends, my name is Gil Pentzak. I'm 29, married to Leah, and the father of 4 little wonderful children, Tzur, Malachi, Adi, and Ori. I've lived in Israel all my life, and was born to a family in which my father is Sabra, native Israeli, whose parents were Holocaust survivors, and my mom came from Iraq in 1949 as a baby. As part of my work as a director at Ulpan Aviv Hebrew School, I met Ruth Fazal 3 years ago, and she has been my student for the past 2 years. Having Ruth and others like her as a student friend has allowed me to have an inside look into Christianity as a religious Orthodox Jew, and for her to be able to do the same into Judaism. Sharing with one another the spiritual elements each religion carries, and discussing a lot about God's presence in our lives was and still is a special experience. Ruth has asked me if I would be willing to share some of my beliefs and way of living as an Orthodox Jew in Israel. Talking to you about Judaism and Israel is not a simple task, not to say writing about it in a letter. It is a complex topic with so many emotions, both positive and negative, for almost anyone, Jewish and non-Jewish. Over time, I've come to realize that many of the things that are commonly thought about Judaism are a result of missing knowledge in Jewish history. I know that to someone who looks at the Torah, where God is talking to the Israelites, saying His word, it may look as if Orthodox Judaism has forgotten the actual word and chooses to focus on customs which may look irrelevant to what God has said. It may look as though the things on which Judaism focuses are the prohibitions, rather than on building a true, loving relationship with God. I can understand how one could see it to be this way, because even I, as a religious Orthodox Jew, believing in the importance of the Torah, need to constantly walk the fine line between the law and the spirit. However, understanding the real structure of the Jewish religion, and understanding all the enforcements that history brought upon it, could allow one to have a different point of view and shed new light on the Jewish people and its way of life, civil, political, and above all, religious. The very central belief that we have in Judaism is that we were given the Torah, just as we read it, no translations, genuine, true, and pure. Nonetheless, we also believe Moshe to be the messenger of God that gave us the heritage of the off-by-heart Torah, that is, parts which were not written but rather taught to Moshe by God Himself for 40 days and 40 nights after the event of Mount Sinai. We believe it not because Moshe said he was God's messenger, but rather because God Himself said it. In several places in the Torah, we see that God chooses and re-chooses Moshe to be His messenger to bring His word to the people of Israel. Just before Moshe passed away, right before the Israelites went into the land, he taught everything to Joshua, and he taught it to the judges, and they in turn taught it to the elders, all the way up to the time that the temple was built. When we had the temple, God's presence in the world, Shekhinah, determined everything. After the temple was destroyed and there was no longer Shekhinah, the nation went into exile for 2,000 years, and because of this, they felt it to be necessary to write down all that Moshe had taught, so that the nation, which was now spread all over the world, would still be able to keep God's word and the tradition in a unified way. The very basic foundation of Jewish belief is that we are committed to the covenant, Brit, that Avraham Avinu, our father, had with God, in order to make sure that the promise that Avraham was given will be fulfilled with us. This involves every aspect of our lives in this modern era, and motivates our actions always as religious Jews. We see the name Israel for the first time in Genesis, where we read about Yaakov wrestling with and being blessed by the angel. Your name shall no longer be Yaakov, which has the Hebrew meaning of following footsteps, but it will be Israel, which is a combination of 2 Hebrew words, Yashar, straight, honest, true, and El, God. I am proud to live and be a part of the generation which has the privilege of living the prophecy that talks about the nation coming back to its land, like children going back to their mother, who waited and waited for them for so long. I am proud and honored to be part of the people of Israel, living in the land of Israel, and keeping the Torah of Israel. I would be very honored to visit your community one day and speak to anyone who wishes to hear more and to consider these things together. Sincerely, Gil Penczak, Israel.